There are stories written on paper, and there are stories written in the hearts of a people. This one begins with a journey across the ocean, a journey that carried hope, sadness, courage, and sacrifice. This is the story of Caribbean migration to the United Kingdom. A story of thousands who left warm shores to build a life in a cold land they had never seen, yet still called home. After World War II, Britain was broken. Bombed cities, empty factories, hospitals short of workers, a country desperate to rebuild. And so the call went out across the Commonwealth, come help rebuild the mother country. For many Caribbean men and women, from Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, Guyana, St. Vincent, the message felt like opportunity. A chance to earn, a chance to send money home, a chance for a better life for children they hadn't yet met. So they packed small suitcases, said goodbye to family, stepped onto the docks and walked aboard a ship called the Empire Windrush. Imagine that moment, standing on the deck, watching the Caribbean fade into a blur of blue and memory, not knowing what waits ahead, only knowing you cannot turn back. Some were excited, some were afraid, some cried quietly as the ship pulled away, but all carried something powerful: hope. Hope that life in England would mean fairness, opportunity, stability. Hope that their sacrifice would lift their families for generations. When the Windrush docked in Tilbury in 1948, its passengers walked off to a world they had only heard about. The cold cut through their coats. The streets were grey. The houses looked nothing like home. But the biggest shock was the welcome. Signs in windows read "No blacks," "No Irish," "No dogs." Many Caribbean men who came to rebuild Britain were denied homes by landlords. They slept in basements, church halls, or crowded rooms shared with strangers. Women who trained as nurses or clerks were often offered the lowest jobs and the harshest hours. Children faced teasing, insults, and rejection for the way they spoke, the color of their skin, the texture of their hair. Yet despite all this, they stayed. They worked, they built. Caribbean migrants rebuilt British transport, staffed the NHS, cleaned the buses and hospitals at night, worked in factories, drove trains, taught in schools, served in the army, and raised families in communities that did not always welcome them. But they brought something powerful with them: culture, the sound of steel pan, the taste of rice and peas, the spirit of carnival, the laughter, the warmth, the stubborn resilience that Caribbean people carry like armor. Little by little, they turn neighborhoods into communities. Brixton.Handsworth, Moss-Side.Tottenham, places where Caribbean roots took hold and grew strong. Their children were born British, but treated like outsiders. They spoke patios and English in the same breath. They lived between two worlds and belonged to both. This generation, the sons and daughters of Windrush, became athletes, musicians, politicians, doctors, teachers. They shaped British culture in ways the early migrants could never have imagined. Reggae and dancehall, Notting Hill Carnival. Food, language, fashion. The Diaspora reshaped Britain from the inside out. And that decades later, another heartbreak. Elders who had lived, worked, and paid taxes in Britain were suddenly told they were here illegally. Some lost jobs, some lost homes. Some were detained. Some were deported to islands they hadn't seen since childhood. A wound opened. A painful reminder of how easily a nation can forget the very people who helped build it. But again, Caribbean people stood strong. They fought back. And eventually, Britain was forced to apologize. Today, millions of Caribbean descendants live across the United Kingdom. You see their influence everywhere, in music, in language, in food, in fashion, in athletics, in politics, in culture. The journey was hard. The sacrifices were deep. The pain was real, but so was the strength. Caribbean migration to the UK is not just history. It is the foundation of modern British identity. So when we speak of the Windrush generation, we speak of courage. We speak of people who crossed the ocean with nothing but hope. We speak of builders, nurses, soldiers, dreamers, parents, men and women who turned struggle into legacy. Their story is written in the soul of Britain itself.